Well, March has come and gone, and we're here at the end of the week, or month actually. Tomorrow is April 1st, and I thought I'd just kind of kick this out before people thought this is all one big hoax. It's been a very slow month. I'm also trying to save for Midwest Gaming Classic, which is going to be happening here in about a week and a half. So I will be hanging around there on Saturday only, but I'll be hanging with the Arcade Impossible crew. And I actually encourage you guys to come on down to Star World's Arcade, and I think Galloping Ghosts. I know they'll probably be there, but I think they're having after convention hour parties, or after parties, or late parties, whatever you want to call them. But there is an extra expense to get in the door. I know last 2 years we've done Star World's Arcade, and that's probably what we'll end up again this year. It's a great time, though. We'll order pizza, you can bring drinks in, and you just play games all night long. You get to hang out with some people and just kind of chat about video games. So it'll be a really great time. So that's happening. I'm also thinking of maybe attending ASIN. I'm still up in the air on that. The only reason I really want to go is to see Lisa Wickerson again. She's an awesome person. Really fun to hang out with. I enjoyed my time hanging out with her on the weekend of Anime Apocalypse. So it'd be really cool just to hang out with her, say hi for a little bit. So as far as Dreamcast stuff goes, very little stuff. I'll show that here quickly. As usual, we're going to go from oldest games up to the newest, and I've got some things with some stories here, so it'll be kind of interesting. First, jumping in, I ended up picking up a copy of BattleTech for the Sega Genesis. I found this really cheap, actually. It's about a $15 game. I found it for a lot cheaper than that. But it looked like a fun strategy shooter based off of the world of like Robotech kind of thing, but this is the only game that they actually came out with on consoles. And a friend of mine's really big into this stuff, and he's trying to get me to play, so I thought I'd pick it up, give it a hand at it, and see what it's like. And so we'll start with that. Probably the biggest find that I got this month is I had, well, 3 coworkers now actually come to me. They were kind of clearing out their stuff, and they know I was into the video games and everything. So this particular guy, is in exchange for me fixing his computer, he gave me some Sega Genesis games. Most of them I already had. There was Mortal Kombat 3, Sonic 2, which was the retail version, which I really didn't have. I have the not-for-retail version. But probably the biggest creme de la creme that he had hanging around, believe it or not, was a complete copy of Castlevania Bloodlines. I kid you not. This is like a $70 game. It is in like pristine condition. It's really clean. It just had some dust on it. He had it sitting around in a box. And he's like, yeah, here. And I was like, okay. But that was awesome. As far as Dreamcast stuff goes, I finally found a copy of Worms World Party. This thing has also been kind of evading me, but we happened to find a copy of it up in Brookfield. Another one around Madison, found Hidden and Dangerous. And the last one, like I said, it's been really slow, and I found 3 games this month for Dreamcast, but I was kind of surprised to find this one. I walked into a store that I normally hang out with and had been there a while, and I pretty much picked clean their entire Dreamcast collection. Now the only thing they have left now are a bunch of sports games. But they're the only place around town here who has like usually a ton of Dreamcast stuff. But it's all the common sport games and racing games, and they're not in the greatest condition either, so I've kind of picked and shoved some together with the ones that had like the less stickers on them and whatever. But this one is sitting behind a glass case, and the girl's like, oh yeah, the owner just put that out like yesterday. But I found a copy of Sports Jam. And this one is kind of a harder, uncommon game to find. It goes for a decent price, around $20-25 on eBay. And I found it for less than that, so I snagged that up in a hurry. I also found a copy. Now, this is nothing special, but it was a game that I wanted in the past. It was really cheap. GameStop sold it for like $20, and then it got down to like $10 used. Walmart was clearancing them out, but for whatever reason, I never picked it up. And I found this one for about $8, and it's Parasite Eve 3rd birthday for the PSP. So I will be giving this game a try since I've been kind of wanting to in a while, and I finally just picked it up. Story time. Again, along with one of the other coworkers who gave me some stuff, they were moving. He got a promotion. Congratulations to him. And while that, he's like, hey, I got this box of games, and it's the original Xbox games. And I was like, yeah, sure, I'll take them. Yeah, it never hurts to have more Xbox games. Well, he showed up with more than just that. Not only did he give me his original Xbox and like over 35 original Xbox games, but I also got a couple Wii games, some PS2, PS3, and Xbox 360 games. So it was really shocking. Now, sadly, most of those games I already had or had no interest in because they were either first-person shooter games, which I'm not really great at, or more sports games. So I sold off the ones I didn't want, and I kept the ones I wanted to keep. And there's nothing really grand in here. Maybe to some people it might be like, oh, wow. But going through it, for the original Xbox stuff, he had Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. And I'm not a huge Grand Theft Auto fan, but I've never played San Andreas, and hey, for a free game. Nothing special here. Halo. I mean, there's dime a dozens. People have this all over the place. Some of the more uncommon games, and these are all in really great condition. I mean, they hardly look like they've been played. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2. I guess this is kind of uncommon. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 1. The Elder Scrolls Morrowind Game of the Year Edition, which I used to own this game, which was the original one, the original release when it came out. Ended up selling it like years ago. I actually beat the game, got through it, and just kind of moved on. I ended up trading in because it was worth some money at the time, but I never had the Game of the Year Edition, which has everything that they came out with for DLC and the additional stuff. So that's kind of cool to have. I was kind of curious about this one. I was never big into the Fallout series. But he had Fallout Brotherhood of Steel, which kind of looked interesting, just kind of a top-down shooter. Another Star Wars Battlefront. And lastly, the other one I kept was Genma Onimusha, which is a Capcom game, hack and slash. So I thought it was kind of interesting to pick up. As for the Wii game, I'm throwing stickers all over the place here. The only one I really kept was Game Party, because I used to own a copy, and it was kind of fun, kind of kiddish. I mean, not a lot of people like the Wii, but for Xbox 360 games that I ended up keeping, he had a copy of Marvel Ultimate Alliance, which I actually ended up selling my copy, but this copy is the one that I usually packed in with the 360 back in the holiday season, because it has Forza Motorsport on the other side, which I already have the game of, but whatever. Dante's Inferno, which I've actually played through before. It's an okay game. Yeah, sadly it's kind of missing the manual in this one. I mean, but whatever. And I just kept this one for kicks because it's not worth anything, and these games you can't really sell. But Guitar Hero, Metallica, which I like Metallica songs, and there's some other stuff in here. I mean, you got Alice in Chains, the Foo Fighters, Machine Head, Queen, Slayer. So, I mean, some decent songs in here. And lastly, which is an RPG that I didn't have, and one of the bigger ones on the Xbox 360. I mean, it's like freaking 4 discs long or something like that, but Lost Odyssey, which is supposedly one of the top RPGs for the Xbox 360 for its time. And that's pretty much it for games. I mean, it's real short, sweet. I'm going to keep this down under 10 minutes. But one of the biggest things, it's not particularly a video game, but it is related to a video game. It's also Sonic-based, which is even more exciting. But Matt called me up, and he's like, dude, you have to get the disc replay. They have an item there that you need to get a hold of. And sure enough, this was something I really couldn't pass on. But it's a Chow bobblehead, limited edition. And these were only given out at Summer of Sonic, I think it was back in 2013. But these are limited edition. They go for about $70 or $80 on eBay. This is there's like 1,300 of them that are actually made. These are actually individually numbered. This one is number 744. It is opened, but I don't really care. I mean, you don't find this often, and I got it for a quarter of what eBay usually sells it on. So this was an amazing find. And this will go right up in my collection here behind me, which is great. You don't find these at all. Really rare stuff to come by. But that's it. Quick, easy, right to the point. Hopefully, come time for Midwest Gaming Classic, my goals are to at least get one of the big 4 I'm missing, which would be either Gunbird 2, Mars Matrix, oh gosh, what's the other one? Oh, Giga Wing 2, and Techromancer. One of those 4 I hope to pick up, along with some of the other uncommon games I'm looking for. Cow the Kangaroo, and some of the other ones you'll probably see here at the end of the video. And maybe I can pick up a copy of Dino Crisis, which eluded me last year. and I really keep kicking myself because every time I find it, I never pick it up. So yeah, that's my goals. Hopefully that'll happen next month. But anyway, thanks guys for watching. Keep tuned, and maybe I'll see you at Midwest Gaming Classic.